Hey, it's Jay. Let's talk about the Rockford Files. I'm new to Rockford. I haven't seen all the episodes yet, because that task seems like a bit of a chore right now, so I've decided to do a little side character sampling. See if any of my favorites from previous episodes I've seen show up again, and the answer is yes, kinda. I also found some other stuff that I want to mention, so let's check out some goofballs, some weirdos, some highly decorated actors who spent time portraying a lowlife on this weird detective show. It's kinda crazy the pull this show had. In no particular order, here are some Rockford guys. One of the best episodes of Season 2 starred Isaac Hayes as Gandy Finch, the very violent ex-con who went away for murdering his wife, which he claims he didn't do. It's later revealed that he was extremely terrible to her, beating her constantly, and she was so scared of him that she hit their 2 children and took her own life after framing him for her death, because in a sense, he did kill her. It's a very emotional episode with a strong ending, which is not what I can say about his later episodes. These episodes are kinda goofy. In Season 3, he appears in Just Another Polish Wedding, where he's slumming around Jim's office after being bailed out, being real obnoxious, eating his ham, destroying his jacket, just a real pest. Jim has work to do, so he calls up his other black friend, Marcus Hayes, the dirtbag parole officer turned PI who Jim saved from a basketball assassin. Turns out these two don't have much in common, and it's only after a threat of violence and the opportunity to steal Rockford's case that Marcus agrees to let Gandy join him. These two are now just hanging out, following the exact same case as Rockford from a different angle, which is kind of fun, but the confusing nature of this plot means I don't know what's going on even more than usual. Something about finding a guy who inherited some mafia money and was hiding from them by being an accordion player? I don't know.
It won't affect your deal with the county?
Wait, what did you call me?
I'm with Los Angeles County. Now, your brother has died and left you $600,000.
Doggone it, Jim, you always get in my way.
No, leave me alone.
That's him.
The only really interesting thing that happens is Gandy and Marcus find a lamp that comes from the Crystal Palace, which is not a godlike supercomputer in space, nor an English football club, but rather a Nazi bar. So they beat the shit out of these Nazis because Gandy is a maniac, and Marcus gets a hold of a shotgun and lectures them for a while.
Before I leave, I would like to give you people my feelings on right-wing extremists and neo-Nazism in particular.
Let's go.
The strength of this country is in the blue-collar middle classes. Now, Marx, Lenin, and even Nietzsche to a lesser degree, all believe that the working class had to be destroyed beyond recognition before the government would fall. Now, I personally believe, however, that the American middle class is totally indestructible.
It's a crazy thing to just put on television, but it's always good to see some fascists get punched. Gandy quits his job with Marcus after discovering he used to be a parole officer and because he doesn't respect his tactics, even though they are remarkably similar to something Jim Rockford would do. At least it was fun to watch them bounce off each other for a bit, and somehow they ended up at this Polish wedding at the same time as everyone else and there's a brawl. Gandy punches Marcus out and they all get arrested. Whoops. His last appearance is a bit less joyful, as Gandy has a new girlfriend, Diane Warwick, a singer that he's hoping to get signed and then they'll both be on Easy Street. She actually seems to like Gandy, so that's nice at least. Unfortunately, she has been kidnapped, her past coming back to haunt her. She was holding the basic counterfeit poker chip kit for a bunch of thugs.
Basic counterfeit poker chip kit. Here's the ink, weight specifications, whole thing.
You seen a lot of those, Jim? Feels like there's only gonna be like 10 of these things in existence. What does an advanced counterfeit poker chip kit look like? Jim and Gandy get caught by a couple of the goons, but they're able to get the upper hand, and then the two of them take out the entire gang with the tactic of having Jim stall the other guys while setting them one by one down into the industrial laundry base, so Gandy can bonk them on the head or force them to giant dryers. Fun stuff. They eventually take out all 6 of these guys and get them arrested, so now it's smooth sailing for our couple, because Gandy just heard from a big shot music producer, and he wants to meet. Unfortunately, it's Angel doing a scam. This guy thinks putting on a pair of sunglasses makes him look like a big shot. Luckily, Jim drops by, and him just being there means Angel can't keep his cool, and Gandy chases him out of the restaurant, presumably to beat the shit out of him. Angel deserves it, really. He didn't show up often in this little slice, but every time he did, he was a real dirtbag. You need to keep an eye on this clown. He's wily. While scoping out to see which character actors have been on Rockford, I was surprised and delighted to see that Rita Moreno played a character in 3 episodes. I love Rita Moreno. She's so talented. She has an EGOT. And she does great here as Rita Kapkovic, a woman of the night, an escort, you know, a sex worker, a normal job that millions of people have. And for this reason, literally no one besides Jim Rockford is nice to her. She's kind of treated like a leper in most of her appearances, really. She first appears in season 4, where she is being processed into the system, having been arrested for soliciting, I assume. She had a rough night and is feeling pretty sad and lonely with her lot. Everyone is being an asshole.
The hell are you crying about, Rita? Didn't have change for a 5?
So when she is sprung by Lieutenant Becker because she's actually a key asset as an informant, she begs him to invite her to his dinner party, just a little human connection outside the vagaries of her profession. It doesn't go great, as Dennis's wife is upset, and Bruce Kirby here is such a social lummox that he's telling his prostitute story again.
Of course, I can remember a time, I think it was in the 50s, big scandal. They rounded up all these girls, took them up right off the street, and every single one of them was carrying a hat box, claiming to be a model. Guess what they were?
Do you have any idea how long it's been since I had Yorkshire pudding?
Which is so rude that his wife leaves the dinner party immediately. And Rita feels bad, when really, this was not her fault. This was Bruce Kirby being a creep, and frankly, they were terrible dinner guests anyway. Rockford drives Rita back to her house and listens to her story about how some dudes are stalking around, some French dudes, and Jim leaves her before turning around after seeing a strange car and saves Rita from a couple of hosers. Jim scares them off after getting a good head bonk, and they go to Becker and decide the best course of action is for Rita to go live with her dear friend whose husband once owned the Ottawa Otters. While Rita is getting comfortable and shopping for dinner, Rockford is staking out her apartment while being constantly frustrated by needy Johns.
Forget it, buddy.
Rita! Rita, you in there?
The odd French-speaking men break into Rita's friend's house and promptly murder her, the friend, which Rita blames herself for, and the cops aren't terribly interested in solving because they also assume this is all Rita's fault because of her profession. They're huge assholes about it. Just writes her off entirely, so it's up for Jim to figure this out. They start looking at the murder from a different angle and realize this one weird mustache man, her husband's ex-business partner, sure is closely tied to everything here, especially as he now owns the Otters, and there are French-speaking goons in Canada. They go to blackmail him so they can do a sting, and you will never guess who shows up at an inopportune time. That's right, it's Bruce Kirby. The reason he would not stop talking about hookers is because he always wanted to meet one, and they have to shove him in the closet when the Quebecois crooks break in. Turns out Rita had been written into her friend's will. She was planning to give her $1 million, and the business partner couldn't have that. They would find all his crime. So he tried to take her out and decided it was time to pull the trigger on the whole stealing this old lady's fortune thing. But Jim stopped him and Rita got the money and hosts a really swell party at Rocky's house. Look at the size of the cold cut plate. Oh, she also bought Rockford a car.
You like it?
Oh, who wouldn't? It's a beauty.
It's yours.
Oh, hey, Rita, no, I can't.
Hey, come on. You're not with the department. Nothing's stopping you.
Can't accept this. I mean, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it, but it's just absolutely...
It's out of the question.
The next time we see Rita, she's escorting a gentleman at the doctor's convention when some thugs force her to a car to go talk to Abe Vigoda and everyone flees. Rita gets arrested for the doctor's murder, and this has the entire streetwalker community up in arms. They're protesting at the police station. Rita wouldn't hurt a fly. Rockford's there to help figure out who really killed this doctor and what their motivation could be. You know how an episode of Rockford goes. They had to collect clues and stuff, wandering around various hallways and offices while making wry conversation. Sometimes there's a car chase. It was the 70s. While they are doing this, Jim is checking in. Turns out he returned that car Rita gave him, and he's wondering why exactly she's still working. Didn't she inherit $1 million last time we saw you? Yeah, she doesn't have that money anymore. Stop asking about it. She's got a community here. She's doing okay. Just occasionally being arrested for murder. Look at her pad. You can't keep Rita down. Anyway, this resolves in the strangest way, as it ends with getting all parties involved to gather together in a room and watch a recording of a botched surgery that Ava Goda is mad about. And the mobster confesses to the killings because he's so angry. And really, you're just here to watch him and Robert Loggia yell at each other.
You could be on crutches. Of course, with crutches, there would be a certain discomfort.
Pain, not discomfort, pain! I ought to kill you where you stand. I ought to kill you slow.
And you did kill Dr. Rosendahl and Gilda Stern.
Oh, right. The names in this one are stupid. This has nothing to do with Hamlet. Anyway, everything's fine. It's time for another party at Rocky's, where Rita reveals that she lost her fortune by being a bit of a sugar mommy.
It was this guy.
Rita.
Oh, yeah, but Jim, I had such a good time spending it.
Oh, Rita. She's so fun. Her last appearance is a bit of a rough one, as Rita has decided she's done with hooking, finally. She's got her beauty certificate, and she's going to get a job doing hair in Beverly Hills. Sadly, the certificate gets her nowhere. The program is considered a scam by all the good hair salons. And also, a pimp is mad at her for convincing another girl to get out and violently beats her and tells her she works for him now.
Now, next Tuesday, like always.
It sucks a lot. You feel really bad. And you start feeling worse when she goes to Rockford for comfort, and he makes her start kissing him, and then we cut to 2 weeks later, and they've been cohabitating, and Rita has fallen in love with Jim, but they've not talked about it. And Rocky is very worried that his son is dating a prostitute and following them everywhere. And then Jim brings over a date, and oof.
You got great hair.
Thank you.
I say that as a professional.
Oh?
And you're wearing it loose, too. That's good. You can use the softness.
Then that pimp shows up and kidnaps her to work in his hotel. And Jim sends Angel in there to break her out, but Angel is such a moron that he gives a reason for the pimp to try and rob him, and everybody gets caught, and Rita gets shot, and it's all so dramatic and sad. And we end the episode with the pimp in jail for assault, and Rita survived and is heading out of town. I'm glad it worked out, but I'm so upset everyone had to go through this. It wasn't any fun at all. Trying to bum me out over here. What is this, a Gandy Finch episode? In the Richie Brockelman video, which is fun and you should check it out, and also like, subscribe, and join the Patreon engagement, we had a two-parter in which Jim runs a rather sophisticated bunco scheme to help Richie's dad get revenge, where Jim played a character named Joe Meeker.
Honey, you said you want a race, huh? How about a contest between one West Texas thoroughbred and one Silver Lame jackass, huh?
Meeker, would you give me...
Hey, you want an appointment? You want to talk to me? You just make an appointment.
I have an appointment.
Come here, folks.
Meeker?
What wasn't clear at the time was that this was not just a one-off thing. This is a persona he's cultivated. Every time James Rockford puts on a cowboy hat, he becomes a smooth-talking former oil man looking for his next grand adventure, very rich and very stupid, always barging in where he doesn't belong because he's an unsophisticated millionaire. I found 2 episodes where he suddenly formed opinions about barbecue sauces to try and gather some information. There may be others, again, haven't seen everything. But what I liked about these 2 attempts is that his cover gets blown pretty much immediately. Joe Meeker actually has a horrible hit rate. It's amazing he keeps trying this. The first episode with Mr. Meeker is a Beth episode in season 4, where a man breaks in demanding she let a certain business proposal go through, a harrowing event, and Jim is there to comfort her and check things out, make sure he didn't leave a bug or anything. Beth is definitely very concerned about this project from work, financing some underwater device meant to collect algae but could be modified to collect oil. She thinks it's a bad investment, but her old college rival is leading the project and there is some tension there, so Jim promises to go check it out for her. He's got a new cover identity he's been perfecting, Joe Meeker.
Bring in Joe Meeker.
Joe Meeker?
Oh, yeah, you love him. He's smoother than oil on a blister.
Now, I've never needed to take on a character for the purposes of spycraft, but I don't think wearing a bolo tie gives you free rein to be the loudest, most obnoxious white man. just oozing with the stink of privilege and having made a small fortune with no effort, going wherever he wants, always yapping with his dumb, unplaceable southern accent.
Jimmy Joe Meeker. Unless you got one hellacious punch, son, I wouldn't go smarting off to somebody as bigger than you are and grew up in the oil fields collecting bets.
Virgil. Meeker.
What a goober. Jimmy Joe takes Beth's friend Susan to dinner to talk about the algae machine, and look who's sitting at another table with a tiny little vial of silverfish. It's Angel, trying to scam a free dinner, and Jim just can't help himself but to interfere and bitch him out, so Angel gets revenge by ratting Jim out for $50. Just a real shitty move. This guy can be the worst. Anyway, a bunch of stuff happens. Do you really need to know the specifics? Jimmy Joe is in trouble for being near a plane right before it crashed. So Rockford has to give up his ruse, and everyone is just fine with it for some reason. And Beth gets fired from work for not supporting the project, even though it's clearly a scam and the investors are planning to kill Susan. But they are stopped, and Beth is going to start her own practice, and she's friends with Susan now, and oh hell, Angel is back to tell us a really gross story about how he got something in his beard. Disgusting, man. Get out of here. The second time I found was when one of Jim's ex-girlfriends calls him, informing him that she's in trouble, only to end up dead. This thing happens to Rockford all the time. He needs to start poking around the modeling industry, see why someone would kill this nice lady. He goes to a supplier pretending to be Jimmy Joe, looking for his next big investment.
Yeah, he and Sue Ellen, they got me figuring I'm some kind of cheapskate. So what I need, honey, is I need some real prime goods.
He spends 5 minutes chatting with these Italian weirdos before breaking into their warehouse and immediately getting caught and kicked out. Because he, for some reason, didn't realize they might have a security system in place. They figure out who he is and send a bunch of dudes to his house to murder him in the woods. Luckily, he only gets some buckshot in the butt.
You were very lucky.
Just lucky. Very lucky would have been none of this ever happening.
I do want to focus on our other villain, the incomparable Rene Auberjonois, as a flamboyant fashion designer who spends the entire time being ridiculous, only for everything to fall apart at the end when his supplies don't arrive in time, so he tries to save the show by making hospital chic happen, and everybody hates it.
For high disco dash, Charlene features the sexy silhouette of a dusty rose silk jersey, bandeau, halter and pants, of violet chiffon at the waist with a shock of gold, and jeweled overbelt are dramatic accents, while a print cotton overdrape brings the colors joyfully together.
This is insulting.
Then some men try to kill him, so Jim has to save him so Renee will confess to the murders. I just always enjoy seeing Renee in this period of his career. He always has so much chaotic energy that it's strange his most well-known role has him tamping all of that down to play this weird, emotionally stunted, shape-shifting cop. Bizarre. In Season 6, there's an episode where Jim Rockford attends a private eye convention, in which he wins the Detective of the Year award.
Don't make it too windy, Rockford. It's a long agenda. Just say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What kind of an acceptance speech is that, Jim?
And then hijinks ensue, but in order for those to make sense, we have to see the first appearances of all the characters tangled in this plot. The first is someone we met in the Richie video. Like, subscribe. Vern St. Cloud. This son of a bitch was yelling at the boy and trying to steal a dead man's case and just generally being an unlikable menace. Turns out Rockford and he had met before, and Vern is just a real stubborn asshole who sucks more than we thought. Jim gets back from vacation to find one of his private eye friends is having a rough time. He got caught breaking into a house for a job and lost his license, and he's not the only one. A number of PIs have been losing their licenses under mysterious circumstances, and one of them is our friend Vern, who's stuck at this dead-end job at his brother-in-law's shoe store, and he hates it. Jim starts looking around for a certain name, and Vern jumps him outside his house and they beat the shit out of each other. This was completely unnecessary. Vern is just that much of an asshole. Eventually, all the PIs team up and figure out what is happening. A private security company has been systematically retiring PIs so they have less competition. In order to prove this, they need to break into their offices and find the dossiers. But how will they cause a distraction to keep police from discovering their B&E? They have cranky old Vern stand on the roof and scream a lot.
Get out! Don't come near me!
My name's Phil. What's yours?
Suck an egg.
Hey, mister. Come on now, we're your friends. We don't want you to jump.
Jump? I never said I was gonna jump.
Come on, get him!
I said it before in my last long video, Simon Oakland was definitely one of the best belligerent jerks in the game. So everyone gets their license back and Vern St. Cloud will maybe talk to these jokers later.
Hey, come on, Vern. We went through a lot together. Let's be friends.
Well, see you guys around. Hey, fellas. Don't take any wooden nickels.
The second character we need to know is Fred Beamer, this real stupid bastard who works as a mechanic at the garage Rockford uses, who decides he's going to steal Jim's identity while he's out of town and cause a shit ton of trouble for him because he really wants to be a detective. This absolute dolt, this complete moron, this
100% chucklehead.
just has some real murky motivations. He begins his little adventure by trashing a driver's training course. And it just gets stupider from there. Jim has to deal with all the fallout of Bieber fucking up his reputation, as well as a new debt collector due to going a little overboard gambling while on vacation. It's really stupid. This buffoon is just always in the wrong place at the wrong time, a constant wrench in all the plans. He's uncovered some nefarious plot involving Robert Loggia again, and while Jim tries to put Fred on a bus out of town so he doesn't interfere, Beamer manages to run back and get himself kidnapped so there can be a big car chase. About the only part of this episode I like is getting to meet Rockford's cat, Valentino.
Hi, what's your name? Your cat?
Cat.
You got a pet, Jim?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got a four-legged acquaintance who drops in when the spirit moves him. Cat. Big cat, Valentino. Valentino, what are you doing in here, huh? Come here.
The third character is Magnum PI himself, Tom Selleck, here playing a private detective with a very different aura. He plays the nearly perfect Lance White, the ultimate do-gooder who everyone loves, everyone but Rockford.
I'm sorry about that, Jim, but I had my client's interest to protect, and you did break into that hotel room.
What client? Who were you working for? Nobody ever seemed to know.
Well, that was kind of a strange one. Those three little boys hired me.
The triplets? They were only 8 years old.
Yeah, well, when their folks were killed by the mob, I kind of took them in.
Both of them are hired to find a weapons manufacturer's missing daughter, Veronica, who has been kidnapped by an old gangster who wants to move to Israel, but can't get citizenship because of his criminal past. He thinks he can use her as leverage to get her father to plead his case or something, because his company is currently selling them millions in ballistic missiles. Turns out Israel doesn't care, and it's impossible to give in to his ransom demands, so Lance gets himself captured to go and rescue her, while Jim actually has to infiltrate the ship they're trapped on and save the day. Lance is a real silly character, too much of a white knight for his own good, and it's really funny watching Rockford be frustrated with how great Lance is. I think the funniest bit is when the two find a dead body, and Jim is warning Lance about how cops can be real assholes, especially Lieutenant Chapman. He hates PIs. And of course, Lieutenant Chapman already knows and likes Lance.
You okay?
It's just a flesh wound.
Oh, good. What do you got?
Nothing much, a few hunches.
Billings, don't touch anything until we find out what Lance has got for us.
Right, Lieutenant.
The ending of this one is extra crazy, as it turns out that while they were both being held hostage, Lance and Veronica fall in love and get married, and Lance is going to inherit the old man's company. As his first decision as CEO, he decides that he wants to gift those missiles to Israel instead. It seems selfish to charge for them.
I don't think we should charge the Israelis for those missiles. It's a small country, surrounded by bigger ones, an underdog. I'd kind of like to see that scale get balanced.
Well, sir,
I'm just going to note that the way people talked about Israel back then was fairly different. It is just very strange that this is an action by a character who was presented to us as morally upright to a fault. It caused a great deal of dissonance for me. So all three of these characters show up to the PI convention. Vern is somehow the president of this organization, running it with his nephew Larry. Becker is here despite not being a member. He's clearly not skilled enough to be a private eye. He's only here to stumble over a dead body and be in awe of Lance White, who has ascended to the platonic ideal of a detective, having seemingly gained supernatural abilities. He's able to find missing things instantaneously.
They fell down in those bushes there, Lance. You'll never find them in those weeds.
Clues he needs appears exactly where he needs them.
Hey, guys. Look at this.
What's that?
I found the senator last night. That was in his hand.
Sure it was.
Yeah, I put it in my pocket and forgot all about it.
This could be the lead we've been waiting for, Jim.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. 10 seconds ago, we had no leads, nothing, huh?
That's right.
And now Beamer pulls this picture of a band leader or something out of his pocket and says it was in the dead man's hand, and now he tells us that it's been in his coat for 18 hours and it shows up right when we need it?
That's exactly right, Jim. What's the problem?
He has perfect recall of events.
Then old Don Fraser came back from the kitchen. I remember the waiter made a left-to-right cross in front of me with a tray of glasses. He was taking it into the lobby. That's the tray that Mickelson fell into.
Lance.
It is wild how things just work out for him. Well, except for his wife. She got sick and passed, and he divested himself from the company, giving his salary to orphans. I'm assuming this tragic backstory was the price he paid for his new powers. Beamer spends the entire episode following Lance White around in awe, while Rockford is just extremely frustrated that he has to hang out with both of these yahoos. They figure out it was Vern's nephew who killed the senator and chase him down, forcing Rockford to jump onto the side of this bus.
What now, Lance?
Trust me!
Everything works out. For some reason, they let Beamer join the Private Eye Club, and it turns out there was a tallying error, and the winner of the PI of the Year award was Lance White for the 8th time in a row, so Rockford needs to give his trophy over so Lance can put it in the back of his closet.
Oh, I don't think so, Jim. I have 7 of them, and I keep them in the closet. You see, I don't believe in displaying awards. I think it's what we learn from the achievement that counts.
This guy, I tell you. Before we leave, it's time to get another lesson in Rockford's key skill set, getting away from people following him. He doesn't need to do it terribly often. At one point, he does a classic maneuver of running into the arms of waiting policemen. A desperate move, but usually effective. Another time, he slides his old-ass car into a used car lot, disguised amongst the other beaters. The coolest maneuver he performs is when he gets kidnapped. The guys decide to skip the following him part and skip directly to killing him in an alley. But Jim pushes the guy out of the car and drives away, straight into a dead end. So he spins around and gets behind a dumpster, using his car to toss it at their car. It's a real neat trick and just the kind of grody stunt work you like to see on these old detective shows. It makes up for all the sitting around and collecting info. So those are some Rockford characters. The show is still fun to watch. So many great character actors just showing up. I mean, we saw Robert Loggia twice. Those aren't even all his appearances. He's also in a season 3 episode. I have more Rockford ideas. I'd love to talk more about Beth or Rocky or Angel, but I need to watch like all of it to get a real feel for those, so maybe next year. Give me some time. Alright, cool. Do I have to tell you to do the engagement stuff again? You made it this far. Congrats. I'll talk to you later. Bye.